Good evening and welcome to Sit Chat. One more session. This time we got somebody young, somebody more who can think differently, more like a founder rather than the age-old guys with a lot of experienced wisdom. So with that very short introduction to Sit Chat, my name is Dinakar. I am a consultant, help companies improve their performance. And today, I also have the role of organizing the Sit Chat, which is a discussion to address various topics of interest to a startup. During the Sit Chat, we speak of various topics, like you see on this slide, mainly concerning the startup. And today, we would be honored to get Purnima speak to us on creativity at your fingertips for discovering product ideas. And with this a brief introduction about today's topic, let me share a screen on our disclaimer, which says that, look, we are doing it for with a noble purpose, and we hope that people who have use this wisdom in their respective lives, validate that with professionals before really taking this and then putting into place, and after that getting into some criticality. What we're doing is a very, very small iceberg kind of a thing, tip of the iceberg. So therefore, please do look at our disclaimer before you really start trying to experiment whatever that is told in this Sit Chat. With that brief introduction, over to you, Purnima. If you can please introduce yourself briefly, and then after that, share your wisdom on creating creativity and how we can use creativity to identify new products and service ideas. Over to you, Purnima.
Yeah, sure, Dinakarji. Thank you so much. So, hello everyone. Good evening. I'm Purnima, basically an engineer turned into a social entrepreneur, a storyteller, a life coach, and an educator. So, started off with my journey into creativity, and definitely SIT has empowered me in this journey. So, let me quickly present my screen. Okay, so is my screen visible?
Yeah, very much.
Okay, great. Thank you. Okay, so let me start off by asking you all, what do you understand by the word ideate? What, according to you, does ideate mean? Anybody? You can either unmute or type it in the chat box.
Well, it's about getting new ideas, is what comes to my mind.
Yes, absolutely.
Initial stage of any idea.
Thinking differently.
Thinking differently, amazing. Yes, so to ideate is to coming up with new idea. But is it really
to dream
Yes.
with?
To dream? Oh, wow, amazing. So yes, so to ideate is to dream, come with new ideas. But the simple letter word, ideate, simple 6-letter word. But is it so simple to get new ideas?
Yeah.
Definitely not.
Yes.
No,
Definitely not.
it's not.
Yes,
It's
Right.
not.
Right. So it's definitely not so easy. But let us find out, why has it become so difficult? Were we like this, from the initial stages, from the time we were born? I think all of us would have experienced this. Whenever we give something to a child, the child completely explores it. It uses all its 5 senses, becomes curious about whatever is in its hand, and tries to explore it in all possible way. Like, say, for example, if a child sees an easy chair, it just doesn't go and sit there. It touches the seat, it touches the handle of it, and explores, okay, how is the texture so different? It looks around, it goes around and sees the chair in different perspectives, different angles, and explores it. It tries to pull it, checks how what is the elasticity of that, how far can it bend. It tries to play around with everything that is around related to the chair. Where has that curiosity gone? Have we stopped exploring things? Things were awesome before we came into school. We were like that. We were exploring. We had that curiosity. We wanted to know everything. But then the moment we entered the academics, there were, the blinkers put up on our eyes, like the same as in the horse race. The blinkers that are put on to the horse so that the horse doesn't get, distracted by its surrounding and focuses only on the path that is in front of us, only on the path that it is asked to follow. That's when all our curiosity, exploring nature has come down, because we are asked to do what is told us to do. That's when the ideation, it slowly started dropping. And we all know that once we stop using certain things, we lose it. So eventually that power to ideate came down. So today let us discover how we can get back to our form, how we can, how we can tap into that potential that is already within us. So there are 3 levels to ideate. The first level is to create. Create is where there is nothing and we create something new, a brand new thing, a unique thing. That is to create. The second level would be to innovate. Now there was a dream, there was an imagination. From that imagination, we extracted an idea, we created something. Now not everything that we have created would be the need for the consumers. So bringing that idea into a form which fits the market, modifying that idea to match the consumer needs is what innovate means. Then the third layer, the third level is to renovate it. Change is the only permanent thing. So we want something new every time. We want things to evolve. We want things to be better. So we renovate it. Like the house that we have built. Initially, when we would have built it, we would have, put in all love, care, affection into it. It would have been our best house. But then it doesn't remain the best forever. We want something to change. We either change the interiors, we change the furnitures, we want to change the color of the painting. We renovate it. So these are the 3, layers or the 3 levels which will help us to ideate. So let's let's know about an interesting story. This is a very interesting story. This story will enable us to understand how did we lose our potential to ideate. So Fido is a dog, a very energetic and enthusiastic dog. It was walking down the lane, and then it was able to smell the bone. And it saw that the bone is on the other side of the fence. Without a second thought, it started jumping. But then the fence was too high for it to jump over. Then without a second thought, it started digging. And in no second it was out. But unfortunately, on the same side of the fence. Then what? It said, no luck, let me just continue walking. As it started walking down, after a few meters, it was completely excited and started running. Because it saw the fence has come to an end. And its goal, the bone, was right in front of its eyes. It ran towards it and happily enjoyed having the bone. Next day, again as it was walking, it saw the bone. Now what is that the Fido will do? Can any one of you guess what would the dog do the next day when it saw the bone?
It will go around the fence.
Yeah, it will go around.
He will follow the same path which he recently followed.
Yes, excellent.
Yes.
So it knows that there is a path which will for sure lead it to success. So now it is not going to jump over, it is not going to dig, it is not going to try out and explore different ways. Based on its past experience, it knows that there is a path which will definitely lead it to success, and it will very easily, aram se, it will walk down and take a new path and happily enjoys because it got what it wanted. But then today is a new day. Every day we get new opportunity, and Fido, because it already knew that there is a path which will definitely lead it to success, it didn't bother to look around and explore things. The next day there was a hole in the fence, and it was big enough that Fido could have easily went through that hole and would have reached the bone in a much shorter time. Now, this is what happens with us as well. When we have found out a way that will for sure lead us to success, our creativity gets trapped in this success. So we don't want to disrupt this path because we know that this path is going to definitely lead me to success. Why should I take that risk? So this is what happens with all of us. Are we ready to get out of that success ka maze and look for different opportunities every day, because every day is a new opportunity. Probably the doors that were closed yesterday might have opened today. So are we ready to do that? Are we ready to disrupt that path of success? Is one of the questions that we need to ask. Now, coming to different types of people, there are three different types of people when it comes to creativity. First is reactive people, then the responsive, then comes the creative ones. Look at these two words, reactive and creative. So it's very easy to take that leap from reactive to creative. It's very simple. Just look at these two words. In reactive, all we need to do is just remove that C and put it in the beginning. Put it before R. Then reactive becomes creative. Very simple. All we need to do is the same thing. We need to make a choice to step out and take the lead to bring about the change. Now the thing is, are we ready to make that choice? Reactive people are desperate. They just want things to happen immediately. They're not ready to explore, innovate. They just want things to go smooth. It has to be done. That's all. Responsive people, they are inspired. They want to understand things and work, and they are happy in their own circle. Whereas creative people, they are innovative. They constantly look for betterment. They constantly try to explore, is there any way that I can make the same thing more interesting? Is there any way that I can reach my goal in a faster way? Can I be more effective? Is there a better method? They are constantly looking for improvement, betterment. Reactive people are frustrated. The work that they do, they're just doing it for the sake of work. They're not interested in the work. They don't love their work. They are working only for that month-end salary. All their excitement will be on that day when they get that salary. That too, if there is EMI, when that day is gone. So they're totally frustrated. For them, Fridays are fun days, and Mondays are the motivational Mondays will become mortgage Mondays for a reactive set of people. Responsive people, they go for fruits. They want the result. If they have met the result, they are happy with that. They don't want to explore. They don't want to go beyond and look for opportunities. They are happy in their small well. They are like the frog in a well, which sees the well and it is very much happy and contented with living in that well. They are not interested to explore. Yes, reactive ones are the ones who are just tolerating life. They're not interested. They are not they're not enjoying what they're doing. They're just trying to push the days. Responsive people, they are celebrating life. They are curious. They are enjoying what they're doing. Whereas creative people, they constantly look for how is that they can be useful today. How is it that I can improve today? Is there any opportunity or is there any way that I can today be better than yesterday? They are liberating. They are constantly upskilling, upgrading, and they want to, rise. Reactive people, they are just doing their job. Their only goal is that month-end salary, and they're happy with that. Rest, they don't care. Responsive people, they're just working. That's it. For them, if the work is done, they are happy. They don't want to look for other opportunities. Whereas creative people, they are career oriented. Look at this word career. Taking care of the self in the present and continuous. They think, how is that I can improve? How is that I can constantly accelerate? Reactive people are cautious. If some challenge comes, they are worried. They don't want that challenge. They don't want any issues. They want things to go smooth. Responsive people, they are curious. When a challenge comes, they want to know, okay, what is it that I can learn? How is that I can solve this and make thing work? That's all. Whereas creative people, they take action and they want tomorrow to be better than today. Say reactive people, when there is some problem or there are issues, they want to escape from that. They don't want any issues at all. Responsive people, they try to solve the issue and make things work somehow. Reactive people, they solve the issue and they'll make sure that in future when this problem comes, I have a ready solution. Not just me, anybody in the team gets that issue, they have a solution ready. So creative people are those set of people who constantly automate things. Responsive people, they just want to work and get the thing done. Whereas creative people, they try to automate it. They want to know, is there a better way to do this work? Can I be more productive? Can my team be more productive? Can we be more efficient? Can I reduce the cost in any way? That's the creative set of people. Reactive people, they constantly blame. They give excuses. Responsive people, for them, name, fame, recognition, appreciation is what matters. Rest, they're not interested. For creative people, life is a game. They are adventurous. They want to explore. They constantly try. Can I write a script to make this work easier? They explore. They enjoy. Now, reactive people, they are just, intellects. They have a qualification. Everyone told them this is what you need to do. There is a future here. They are just into it. That's it. Responsive people, they have that intellect, and fortunately, their intelligence, able to get everything easily because their intelligence is matching their intellect. Creative ones, for them, their intellect, their intelligence, their interest, and their intuition are aligned. They have that intellect, they have that intelligence, and they also have that interest. So there are two set of people: creative people and logic people. For creative ones, the creativity comes naturally; they get ideas. But whereas for the people who are more into logic, for them, creativity is not something that comes to them naturally. So they have to develop that interest. They have to work with that intention. Then eventually the intuition will come in. They have to nurture their creativity. For creative set of people, creativity is something that comes to them very naturally. It just comes in a flow. For logical people, they need to nurture it. They need to show some involvement. That's when things will work out for them. Reactive people, they are just living in their illusion. They are just living in their own small little world, and they're not interested in anything else. They don't want to look out. Responsive people, they have a vision in front of them and they are constantly working on it. If that is met, that's all. It's end for them. They don't want to go beyond. Whereas creative people, they illuminate. They don't just make things easier for them. They make things easier for their entire team. So creative people, they just don't grow. They make their team, their company to grow along. So they illuminate the entire space. So reactive people, they just work for safety and security. They just play a safe game. Whereas reactive people, they work for surety and sincerity. They want to go beyond. They want to reach that extra mile constantly and every time. Now, in order to bring this into reality, in order to bring the ideas into the reality, there has to be an alignment between brain and the heart. Without that, things won't work. So based on future measured disruptive projections, we have to work, and not just on the existing old assumptions. say for example, we can take the example of Nokia and Kodak. So if I'm not wrong, Nokia was the one who got the smartphones first, and Kodak got us the cameras. It was hit in the beginning, but what happened later, we all know that. Because they were just, they bought something new and they were happy and amazed with that. They didn't look about what is the changes that's happening around and how is that I can match that, right? That led to an end of it. Are we ready to go beyond the intellect and experiences? Take the example of IBM. They were into hardwares, they were into computers. Later, they took that, calculated risk. They took that leap to enter into software industries. Are we ready to take that risk? Are we ready to go beyond the intellect and experiences? Swami Vivekananda had told this hundreds of years ago. Arise, awake, and stop not till the goal is reached. We need to stay alert. We need to be aware of our surroundings, and then we have to take the immediate action. Let's take the example of Newton and Sir M. Vishwesvaraya. For Newton, Apple became his guru. And for Sir M. Vishwesvaraya, the waterfalls became his guru. A lot of people before them would have seen apple on the tree, apple on the ground. They all would have seen the waterfalls. They all had enjoyed. But then none of them thought the way Newton thought, and none of them started thinking the way Sir M. Vishwesvaraya thought. Now, what happened there? It's a simple thing. We need to perceive things in order to get a right perception, and then inquire to acquire. So for everyone else, apple was just either on the tree or on the ground. But Newton saw apple falling. That's the different perspective that he got, and that led him to inquire further and acquire things. Sir M. Vishwesvaraya, he didn't just see the waterfalls. He didn't just enjoy and rejoice it. He saw the speed with which the waterfalls, it's dropping. He saw the height from which it is dropping. So Sir M. Vishwesvaraya, he was able to see the force that was in that waterfall. So the way he perceived thing was different. So can you all see how simple things that is just around us as the potential to make us innovative? It is just the thing of how we perceive it. Perceive it rightly, have a right perception, and then when we inquire it further, we'll be able to acquire things. And then once we have known things, are we ready to take that calculated and intelligent risk? While Airtel and Vodafone were already competing and they were struggling, Jio came in, started giving free connectivity to people. And everyone laughed, oh, this person doesn't even know how to make business, how to do business. But then what happened? After 6 months, he charged 200, and by then he already had 1 crore customer base. Now, in no time, he made 200 crores. So are we ready to take intelligent risks? Are we ready to collaborate, integrate, and innovate? Tata, they collaborated with Land Rover, and then they brought in a lot of cars. Are we ready to collaborate, integrate, and innovate? I think even SIT is a good example for this, I guess. We have a lot of people here who are collaborating and coming up with new things. There are a lot of avenues that is getting opened. So are we ready to collaborate, integrate, and innovate? Idea generation to germination. So let us not block the idea in the initial stages. Let us ask our teams, let us challenge ourselves to come up with 3 ideas every week. The possibility, the feasibility will come at the later stages. Let us just generate ideas. Later, with our experiences and talking with the expertise, we can think about how is that this idea can be brought into successful reality. So that comes at the second and the later stages. So let us first extract idea, emanate idea from imagination, work on it, experiment it, then adapt it accordingly. Let us not resist the ideas at the initial stages itself. Let us not talk about well, this idea is going to fail for so and so and so reasons. When we start giving a lot of negative reasons why things would not work, then automatically we will stop coming up with ideas. So let us just dump all the ideas. Later we can work on how is that I can modify this idea, how is that I can renovate this idea to meet the customer needs. For example, aspirin. Aspirin, it was for a headache, but then they saw that people are facing different issues. The aspirin that is given for headache, it is causing the thinning of the blood. Because of that, they had given 3 months time to destroy it. Then people thought that, okay, we'll dump it in the ocean, but the naturalists, they objected it. Then they were given 3 months time to decide how is that they're going to destroy that the entire lakhs of aspirins that they had. And fortunately or unfortunately, a secretary, one of her relative, met with he died out of heart attack. And the reason was because of the blood clot. Then the secretary thought, hey, we have aspirin, which is banned because it thins the blood. Then she suggested that idea, and see, the aspirin which was about to get banned, was already banned, came back to market. They started using it to thin the blood. So there is a possibility. So probably we would have, generated an idea to solve a particular issue. So if not that issue, let us figure out how is that I can further modify this idea, renovate this idea to make it useful to the society. How is that I can modify this idea to meet the consumer needs? So let us ask the 6 wives and 1 husband, that is the 6 W's and 1 H questions to generate ideas. So in summary, let us take that courage, let us make the choice to step out and lead change. So let us in order to get back that creativity, are we ready to take that risk? Are we ready to disrupt that path of success? So if we are ready, let us start working on it. Let us ask the 6 W's and 1 H questions and explore and ideate, and then with the experts and expertise, we can figure out how we can bring idea into a successful reality. So yes. So I
Thank you so much, Purnima.
some inputs.
Thank you very much. That was really nice. Before we really throw open the floor for questions, I have a question to you. Imagine you are leaving the house. See, first of all, this creativity is something which you spoke about is the DNA of various people. Some have creativity, some don't. Some are reactive, some are responsive, and some are creative. Now, as a founder, possibly one needs to be having all the 3 qualities, because it's not possible that you are just creative, then you keep on creating new things every day. But that may not really give the necessary stability for the business. So it should be possibly a combination of creativity, then being creative, being responsive, and reactive. What is your take on that?
Yes, definitely. First comes the ideas, but then what the thing is, like if we bring in too much of logic in the initial stages, we kind of stop ideating. So let us ideate, and then yes, we have to seek support. We have to meet people, meet the experts, take their guidance, take their advice, and then discover how is that we can make this idea into a reality. How is that we can bring this idea into a reality. So yes, definitely. I think this is something that even I followed. So I just came up with some idea to bring in some innovative curriculum in the schools, and then thanks to the SIT mentorship program, it has opened a lot of avenues to me, and with the help of Manoj sir, through his mentoring, I met Ajit sir, and because of who today I am able to present this topic. So yeah, so yes, definitely we come up with an idea, and then we meet the experts, we seek their guidance, their advice, and then we further work on it.
Yeah, super. And the other thing which I wanted to ask is, we are every day looking at so many things, experiencing so many things. What do you think we should do, or what questions should we be asking ourselves to be able to identify business opportunities from whatever we are experiencing every day. What do you think would be such questions that we have to ask ourselves?
Okay, it's simple. We have to go ahead by asking the 6 W's. What, why, when, where, which, who. And then how. How is that I can extract something? See, it is just about how we perceive things. Probably the way I look at one thing and the way you would look at the same thing would be completely different. Say, for example, Newton's example that I gave. So it is the apple that is falling. So if we are apple that is falling, then there's a different perception that is created in the mind. But if you're just looking at the apple on the tree or apple on the ground, it is different. So the way we perceive things are different. So I think one of the another way, because until we develop that different perspectives, I feel the easier way would be to go ahead and discuss with people. Take a topic and say, or probably most of the ideas would come from pain points, come from the challenges, the problems that we face. So let's discuss problems. Let's see what each one of us will give. What is the take that we take on that topic, on that problem? How is that we come up with different solutions? In which direction do we look into it? It all like all of those things will be different, and when we discuss on these things, we will get some ideas.
Okay, because I have a methodology called as doHow. Not that I'm
Okay.
trying to market myself, where I have felt that the ideation happens only if there is some kind of a hint. If you have to really get everybody to ideate, so giving that hint, you start a debate, and through that you can get ideas. Is what I have experimented. So maybe sometimes I would share that in sit chat also as to how it is done. So thanks a lot for that. And in the for others, if anybody wants to ask a question, a comment, or whatever, please raise your hand, or you can enter in the chat window, and then you can get to introduce and then ask the question. LK, please go on. You're the first.
Yeah, hello. So, very nice session. Poonam, right?
Purnima.
Purnima. Yeah, very nice session. I remember your testimonial on the SIT about after meeting Ajit sir, how you got that experience and how you got benefited. So first of all, I'm I'm listening to you and talking to you first time. So thank you very much for putting that testimonial on the group. That makes a lot to us as a SIT. Thank you very much for that. I appreciate.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming up with the SIT mentorship program, because of which I was able to meet a gem like that.
Yeah,
was transform that entire journey.
You have to thank Muthuswamy sir for that. So he is the man behind that. Okay, just like here we have Dinakar doing the sit chat. So Muthuswamy sir is doing the mentorship very religiously and trying to help people. Thank you. So I'll come to the question. First question would be the creativity. Yeah, this particular topic. I am looking at it in a different way. That the question. Generally, people earlier stage people used to say that leadership is like born. It cannot be taught. This was like decades ago. Sales also same thing. But later on, gradually the training part came, teaching part came, lots of curriculum, lots of systematic way of training and teaching these people to become good salespeople or become a good leader. This has happened last over 2 decades, and now proudly from all forums it is being said that leaders are not born, but they are made. Okay. So my question to you is, how about creativity? I mean, is it like we still have the perception that creativity is in certain people only? And other people think that, oh, no, I'm not a creative and I cannot think like a creative person. So do you also see this in the same way? Or do you have different thoughts, and can this barrier be broken? And if yes, how?
Yes. So I would say there are two things. One is nature, another one is nurturing. So yes, people can build that creativity within them only if we have interest. So only if we have that interest, then we develop that intelligence, we develop that interest towards it, and with the right intention, we will be able to develop our intuition. Now, when we start nurturing on this, then eventually we'll be able to, even become creative. So they say that the creator is in the creation. So if we really want to look into things in that direction, and if we develop that interest, then probably yes, we will be able to, develop creativity as well. I'd like to ask Ajit sir if probably if you can add some more value into this. This was just something that I felt.
You know what? Very, very well said. See, there are three things. One is a nature. Like when a ball is coming, even in the dark, Ronaldo is able to hit the ball because he is able to connect when intelligence and intellect are overlapped. You hit at the right time. You see, he knows when to jump when the ball is coming. This is known as heuristics. Okay. So what LK is telling is there is a culture which we develop because of exposure, experimenting, and experiencing. So if these three things are evaluated, LK, whether you like it or not, we mature because of the exposure. One is caught, one is taught. So if you realize there is a beautiful approach which can be done, finally, we all have to mature in a particular thing. But one thing is there, LK, finally, if you go to our old Shastras, Pancha Dosha, if somebody has more fire, that water person cannot last long with a person who has got more fire. It is not equal quantity. When water and fire try to fight with each other, whether you like it or not, fire is type A personality. Are you getting the point?
Okay. Yeah,
so it's very difficult. So we have to understand the depth of this Panchakosha and Panchadhatu. What is more in you? Will water person will be more creative. Much more creative is the air person, because air keeps moving, collects ideas like this. Okay, fire people are executors. They will get work done. People with more air are creative, but they are more procrastinators and delayers. It is very clear if you have people, juniors under you, if you just watch them, you will be able to decipher what is their approach to work.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
apart from
So
Ajit, do
I
anybody
just-
want to add?
I want to add
Before we
here.
come to the next question, Sagar, for this topic itself,
Yes.
anybody wants to add any other comment?
I want to add to what Ajit said. Okay, see, Ajit, very closely to what you said. Human beings are made of the three dosha, Vata, Pitta, Kapha, and Vata, Pitta, Kapha is going to lead to three kind of personalities: Sattva, Raja, Tamas. And Vata, Pitta, Kapha is created in a human body only because of the Pancha Dhatu, that is the 5 elements. Okay, that is what. And just for the sake of interest, in in SIT, we have got Dr. Shilpa Datar, who is a specialist in this, of looking into the Tridosha and Trigunas. Probably in one of the SIT's chats, we can have her to ponder on this and the leadership qualities based on that. That's what
Thank
I
you so
want
much.
to
Let
add.
us focus on the topic. That's important. Definitely, we can invite many people. We'll focus on the topic. On this topic, do anybody want to comment on this topic? See, because I had something to say, LK and Ajit and also Purnima. In my experience, see, each one of us are born with the same biology, same hardware. What makes us different is the experience that we have in our upbringing, what kind of experiences we have gone through, what kind of challenges we have gone through. So if you have to create a leader, or you have to create a creator, or you have to create an innovator, I think exposing them to such experiences is the key. Whatever amount of GAN you have, some amount of slideshows and presentations will really not get somebody to become creative or become a leader. That's my experience, and that's my wisdom, which I wanted to just add on to this.
Dinakar, I have a supplementary question to Ajit ji on this.
Sure,
Thank you.
please go on.
He spoke of the panch doshas, and my question is that is there any technique by which we can know this one what type of a person is?
Yeah, that's
I
what
mean,
LK told. No, the doctor will definitely. If you come on can you come on the screen?
sure.
See, there are, by the time he comes on the screen, there are a lot of psychometric tests, okay? Lot of tests and lot of ways of checking things. To a great extent, it depends on your mental state during the time when you take the test. So we always need to take everything with a pinch of salt. I think more than anything, you need to believe in yourself, whatever you are, whether you are a air or a water or a fire. It's more about believing in yourself to succeed more than really finding out what you are. Is my
No,
take on this.
my question was different. Let's say this one, right? If I'm interacting with somebody, right? So before than that, if there is any technique, I can know that okay, what type of person is. That's what my question was to Ji.
Okay, I think we are going away from creativity. But yes, if you immediately want me to tell, are you little creative? Yes, no, tell me.
Yes, of course. Yes,
Yeah,
of course.
and you will postpone things, do it at the last minute because you'll be able to do it in a much faster manner. Yes, no, please tell me.
Not every time, sometimes.
No, yeah, that's what I'm telling you. So what happens is, now let us not waste time. Give me a call. I've seen your face. I will tell you for 5 minutes what you are.
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
Okay, super. So thank you so much. And then now we have Vinayak with a question. Please go on, Vinayak.
Thank you, everybody.
Purnima, wonderful session till now. So I have a very simple question, okay? You spoke about creativity, reactivity. Is it situational? That's my question. Can I move between being creative, reactive, depending upon the situation? So that's my question. Thank you.
Yeah, I feel that yes, that is possible because it's like when we are on that fire. Okay, this reminds me of that frog story. I'm not sure how how well it will connect with this, but I feel that let me just share that. There's a frog in a vessel, and then there's a fire. So initially the frog felt that okay, the heat it just felt that it kept on adjusting. Okay, but only to a certain extent. But then once the heat had gone, it had crossed that limit, it had no option. So, probably the reactive and creative would be something, related. Say, depending on the situation, what is that we're going to do? Probably the heat of the moment will make us to do something without thinking. We just, end up being reactive. And in certain situations, probably we have that peace of mind and we'll be able to think, okay, how is that we can solve things. So probably I feel that yes, we will be able to shift between reactive and being creative, depending on the situation and depending on the kind of the mind state that we have. Yeah, this
Thank you so
is
much. Thank you
in
very
my
much.
Thank you.
Anybody wants to add anything to that?
Dinakar, I would like to add on this.
Please go on.
Actually, thanks to Vinayak for asking this question because my second question was on the same point, but it was in a little different way. My point was one cannot be only reactive or only creative or only responsive. These will be the states of mind, and in different situations, you will respond differently. Just like for example, I have noted down the example. So reactive, Purnima said the person is generally blaming. Then for responsive, she said he loves appreciation. And for creative, she said that life is a game kind of philosophy he has. So these three words, I'm just trying to correlate between these three words, and again going back to this spiritual part of Satoguna, Rajoguna, and Tamoguna. So they are kind of in sync with these three, and it is always said that in philosophy and also spirituality that person cannot be only in one stage or one state. He will be moving around these states.
Yes.
So what I think is like, and that's why spirituality people say that we have to try to improve our sattva guna state so that we achieve what we want to achieve as a human being. So here, I would say that we have to try to be more on that creative side. How can we become? And that was my first question, that how to go to that. We understand this is what we need to do, but how to reach? And is there any methodology? Is there any institute or something like that? Like, suppose, let's say Prashant Dhawan, who is the Biomimicry Foundation person, who has come up with a syllabus to teach biomimicry. It was not there. So in India, he's the first guy, or probably in the world, few guys. So he's trying to create this and teach people. So for creativity, if I want to become creative, how can I uplift myself? That was my original question. Sorry, I think it moved here and there, but I hope it makes sense.
Yeah, you want to answer that, Purnima?
Yeah, so maybe I believe that let me just quote an example. So I'm not sure if we can really make somebody creative until and unless they want to. But then I tried something similar with kids and called it as cogniton. Making them think with different perspectives, because in one day we cannot have that shift. So I thought that probably we have to train them step by step. We have to train them. So I just thought that, okay, look at a thing and ask me. I used to narrate them a story and ask them, can you ask me certain questions? So in the first day, I saw that one task that I gave them was, imagine a playground and tell me what are the questions that you get. The first day that I got questions was, it was reflecting our school syllabus. How many children are there in the park? What are the games that are there in the park? How big is the park? How many grounds are there in Bangalore? So those were the questions that I got. And then initially, after that, 10 days, probably 2 weeks, after 2 weeks of training, when I asked them the same question, I was so amazed that they came up with questions like, can we balance seesaw? Why do we slide when we sit on the slide? And then through the story, they were able to answer that, okay, it is due to gravity. So probably we have to tune their mind to think in a particular way and ask the right set of questions. So probably by doing that, eventually we might, develop the creativity. That is, my take on this.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you very much.
LK, see, there are a lot of methods to do that. We can speak offline. My entire doHow is only that. I do that with the companies. Moment you become creative, there is a different energy level because your dopamine gets released. You are able to form better teamwork, better collaborations, etc. So we can speak offline. Now, Nina, you had a question. Please go on.
Yes, thank you, Dinakar. Purnima, I'm really so very happy seeing you here. And thanks, Dinakar, the first woman on Sit Chat, and it's making me really, really proud. And I just wanted to say that, creativity is seeing what others see and thinking what no one else has thought. I didn't say this, but Albert Einstein has said this. And I just have an example here. When Hillary Clinton came to India, and she was taken on a tour of Punjab to see the milk producing industry or something. When she went there, she was surprised to see a washing machine in one of the places. And what was that washing machine doing there? It was actually used to churn the buttermilk. And see the creativity of Indians. All of us look at washing machines, but it took that Punjab farmer to think of using it as something else. And we Indians are so very creative. So very, we see so many of these Twitter, and I think Anand Mahendra keeps posting a lot of these innovative things which are made in creative things which are only some Indians can see, and it's very ingenious. And also, its creativity is intelligence having fun. We take our intelligence everywhere, but somewhere along the line we forget to tap into it. And we need to have that fun element has to be there to be creative. Thank you.
Dina, was there any question or you only wanted to
No, I
just
just
compliment?
wanted to share this. I just wanted to compliment them.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you. Anybody else with any comment or discussion or contribution to our topic? Because at some point of time, I think we became very philosophical and spiritual because our objective is to talk to startups. And one of the key challenges is to really look at how do we create new product and service ideas. That is something which is possibly a combination of business acumen and being creative. Anybody want to share some insights on that?
What you rightly pointed out, if exposure is given, it's a question of flexing your thinking muscles.
Yeah.
Finally, we are all born creative. We create ourselves, and creativity is something which can be caught. It's a skill. But unfortunately, for want of fear, our mindset has to be worked upon. And if it is stimulated, I'm sure we have trying it, wonderful things take place.
Yeah, absolutely. And that is generally being creative. See, I remember when I was in MICO, about 2 years or 3 years or maybe 5 years old, there was a special report done on a technical graduate trainee who had just then joined. So I remember answering this question of the reporter. See, when you become creative, you get all kinds of ideas. When you are focused, then you only get those ideas which are workable. It's not just getting ideas. I think it's also about getting the ideas which are implementable, getting the ideas which can be used as a solution, and that possibly comes over wisdom, right? As you mature, you know that there is no point in getting some idea which you would have possibly got 10 years earlier. Your entire life has taught you that experience. So that filters out the ideas already. Only those workable ideas is what you get.
Actually, workable means, see, all ideas start with illusion only. If you really go to see, if somebody said, I'm going to press 10 buttons and connect with somebody in America, it was an illusion those days. But today it is a creativity. So everything can be made workable. Even the bulb, it took 7 years to be made workable. For who's that bulb which was created?
Edison.
So 7 years for it to come into limelight.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but as long as the idea is something which, when I say workable, I'm talking about something which is which can be used, which can be implemented. See, many a times we think aloud, right? And there we may be getting all kinds of ideas which are ideas, but when you do brainstorming, for example, right? It's a classical situation. A lot of ideas come up, and many are not even contextual. Many are not even making any sense. But as long as you can see some sense out of that, it is useful. I'm talking about only getting those ideas which are useful. So I spoke about the light, or maybe you talked about the mobile phone, right? And that possibly took decades before it really became a reality. But still, there was some sense in what that idea had. And that sense is something which you get only through experience and exposure. Otherwise, you're going to be wildly talking about something which possibly is not really useful to humanity. See, since we are in the business of startup and companies and creating wealth and creating money, it's important that our ideas are in some way executable, which can then turn into a business idea. And that's where I was coming from. Yeah, Sagar, please over to you. Please go on.
Purnima, see, I am a creative guy, and my boss is a reactive dictator. And an organization probably requires both. The boss is the founder, he is a reactive dictator. Now, what is your suggestion? What would this team actually head towards?
Interesting. Probably, since the boss is reactive, he might not entertain. Yeah, and a dictator. So definitely, such a person would not entertain creativity, because that person would look for the result and would say that we already have a method that will lead us to success. So definitely this path is going to lead us to success. Why do you want to waste time thinking of different solutions? Why don't you stick on to the procedures, stick on to the norm? So probably this is something that I feel. So I'd like to.
Now, what would happen to the team, Ajit?
See, what happened was same thing happened to Kodak. The digital camera was produced by a person in Kodak, but the Khadu's MD, he did not listen. Same thing happened with Nokia. They wanted Symbian. They didn't want the new thing which was coming.
Yeah.
But yes, if
Android.
a creative guy, please understand, the diamond is formed with pressure and heat. The pearl is formed because of the scratching of the sand in the oyster. And therefore, a creative guy who is little, pushy, he will not only convince the MD, afterwards he'll be the most respected guy also. So all depends on how we are able to improve our communication skill to present it in the right manner.
Yeah, Ajit, I think what you said is very true. I second that. And we really don't know what situation was there in Kodak or what situation was there in Xerox or Nokia. So we all keep giving that as an example, right? To really excite people and enthuse people. So it's important to understand the context of that company when they did that. Unfortunate that they didn't get that idea right. But whatever you said about creative subordinate, being smart enough in trying to see what way he can support his boss, right? And Purnima, you are talking about the boss telling that, look, you need to follow the norm. It's absolutely necessary. You cannot really be, in a wild goose chase where everybody is trying to do something different. So I can say our traffic in India is extremely creative, right? But you see the amount of misery we have got. So we should really try to find a balance. And the boss who is reactive possibly is trying to find that balance. But if the subordinate is creative enough, I am 100% sure that he would have the persistence to look beyond whatever the boss is asking for. Boss is asking for stability, which is absolutely necessary, right? You cannot really go on a wild goose chase, and then the entire thing will collapse. So I feel it's a fantastic combination, Sagar, to have a reactive boss and a creative subordinate.
Yeah, in fact,
it's a fantastic combination.
Sagar, that post-it, which was it is that story only. That was a glue which was failed. A glue which failed in 3M became post-it. Because of somebody who pushed it.
Correct. Yes. So anything else? We are already at 8:30. So any other ideas, any other comments?
On the same line, the example could be, I don't know whether right or wrong, but Steve Jobs was one of the most creative person in the industry, got sacked by the management because of XYZ reasons. And but when the company actually flourished, he came back and started something doing that. So if you stick with your creativity and try to find the ways to take it to the top, then definitely the company and the person both can benefit. But that is interpersonal skill, how to manage that reactive and that boss. So that is my sort of say on that.
So having the balance.
Okay. So thank you so much. Thank you, LK. And as usual, before we end, let us take a snap of all of us here together, so that the others who have not switched on the camera, please switch on the cameras. And then I would, so now we can take a snap, and then we are done with that. So thank you very much, Purnima, for a wonderful, trigger and fire for a heated discussion, which was very positive. So I am not Arnab Goswami of Republic TV, but still I try to play that role. It's important to get people to start talking.
Very well played.
And as usual, final words from Amarji before we close. You please put your final wisdom, Amarji. You heard us all, and final words from you, sir.
Yeah, good evening to all. Wonderful presentation, Purnima, you have done today. And a lot of learning, though I belong to the fashion industry, a lot of things I could learn from today's talk. First and foremost is that you need to have an hunger. if you have a hunger, I think so that will transform your life to become something what you dream about it. So you need to have that to dream, and then the hunger put together, I think so transforms our lives. So let's be the change makers. This is what I have today. So I think so this is the best thing I can say as my own field, which I've traveled globally. All my designers say that you need to dream to create things every year. So I think so if you don't dream, you cannot do anything. I think so the best teacher for this is our mother, who teaches everything. Every time she cooks, she dreams something new. I think we should learn a lesson from all our mothers. And I think so that's the best thing. We could all look at it. A wonderful session, and I wish you all the best.
Yeah, thanks a lot,
Thank you so much.
Amarji. And before we close, our Dr. Namrata Hegde chips in a very, very important wisdom for all of us to understand. She writes in the chat, let me read it. I think you need to be ready to unlearn few things if you want to be creative. And that's, I think, a very, very popular quote, Namrata ji. Thanks a lot for that. To end the session, it's something which is extremely important, that we need to unlearn before we think of becoming creative. Otherwise, creativity will not come. Absolutely true.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you so much. And then see you next week.
Thank you.
Just before you close this, 9th August is Bangalore Meet in Person. So whoever is there in Bangalore and whoever can come to Bangalore, please follow the links that I'm going to provide on SIT groups. 9th August, Wednesday at 6:30, Wilson Garden. Please be there.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much.
you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.